today to do it. And here on USD CAD we could potentially see that we've shifted bearish here. And now we're creating this minor bullish structure, but we can see we're very overbought. Like, we could expect a pullback, but we can see by looking to the left we're above resistance by the wicks and the bodies, and in a bearish market we're only looking to sell. So for me to look for a trade on this pair, I would need to see price come under where we constantly reject. You can see push up, rejection, to then push down to the EMA, coming into this area, coming down to this, to this could be confirmed this be confirmed as the lower high for the weekly. But for this to be confirmed as the lower high for the weekly, we'll need to see obviously the daily shift of structure, because it's the same principle as when we apply the 4 hour. So when we're looking for a 4 hour higher low, we're looking for a 15 or 30 minute shift of structure to confirm that that's a potential higher low. So it's the same on the daily. So the first step and the only thing we're waiting for is firstly the daily to shift. And for the daily to shift, you can see we created a nice retest on this weekly resistance, which also comes in as yep, you guessed it, daily resistance, right? And if we drag this across, daily resistance, support went on top, supports went on top. You can see, clear as day. So all we're waiting for is to see that shift of structure on the daily. But obviously, we have to wait for this. So price is broken above already. So if this candle comes down and closes, we count that as a shift of structure, because we've had a body candle close above our previous higher high, making this our new higher high. So what we want to see is price shift structure underneath and then come back to retest this area where we'll potentially get our entry on the rejection, and then the 4 hour obviously lower high here, and then that sell off. So so as you can see, we've got our confidences. All we're waiting for is the shift of structure on the daily below the area of interest, and then we could look for further confirmations. If you want to see the 4 hour, the 4 hour could look like it's potentially getting ready for that push. We've pushed up. Sorry, let me draw this out nice. Lights out. We can create this little moment of stopping here. And now we're still technically bullish, but what we're seeing doji. Seeing a little wick out. We could potentially see that big impulse push, which is what we want to see to create that daily impulse. But as far as we go, we just wait for the daily. There's no need to stare at lower time frames when all we're waiting for is this. Next pair, AUD USD. So we have the weekly bullish, right? Weekly's bullish. We did pull back to previous structure. However, we did. We did pull back to resistance, support, resistance. So we did pull back to a valid area with also around psychological level in it, 6,000-7,000. So we've pulled back to this current area, creating the bullish steps. And it's the same thing we want to see. Let me get a fucking drink in. Let me get a drink in. Goes to grab a Monster. Oh yeah, that's better. So It's the same principle we want to see. To confirm that this is a potential higher low, we want to see that daily shift of structure. I don't know how it could get any easier than this, but all it is literally, we're just waiting for the shift of structure. So to see that shift in structure, what would we want to see? Well, there's two scenarios that would look perfect. Well, not perfect, but that would look acceptable for me to take the next steps in looking for a trade. So one is going to be price come up, reject this area with the EMA in it, then come back down to create a left head, right shoulder. That'll be the first scenario that we could look to see. The second scenario can be a play off of the first, or just straight up. So we could either see another higher low created here, or just a straight push up to shift the structure, break above the EMA, to then come back and then look for our rejection of the area of interest of the EMA of the previous structure, to then take that trade, confirming that this is now the new lower high. This is the higher low of the weekly. Then, oh shit, wrong button. So that's what I'm looking for the daily over the next couple of days during the week. The 4 hour currently looks. You can see. I can't make it up. Left head, right shoulder, break, wick, retest, and now we're pushing up. I couldn't make it any simpler for you. Like, this is all we're waiting for. If you look at that, break, left head, retest, starting to push up. Where did it push up to? That next structure point. So come back to the daily, okay? And if we did do that on the daily, we'd have what? Left head, break, retest, push up to the next structure point, right? And what would that be on the weekly? Well, that would be price pushing up to create the higher high, or reject the previous higher high. Like, so the next pair is going to be, let me just make sure I got that alert. Yeah, that alert set here so I can see the reaction. The next pair is AUD NZD, and this pair, to be honest with you, I'm looking at this to get rid of that, and we're seeing what, alright? We're seeing price pushed up. Last week printed the doji. The week before, it was kind of basically a doji, like a slightly bullish up doji. But what do those dojis entail, right? Well, they show us that there's indecision in the market. So what is highly probable is we could see a push down. But the reason that it's still in my pair and I'm still kind of intrigued is because we broke above the area of interest, came back to retest with the doji, showing that sellers weren't super strong to push price down. And then there was an equal amount of buyers and sellers, but buyers still held price above this, if you pay attention. You know, this strong level, buyers held price above. That's what got me intrigued, because if we look left, we can see previous resistance, resistance, support. This is a very strong, valid level. And you can see when we're under, rejecting, when we're above, rejecting. So when we come back to this current market, it's a tricky one, because we've had a big push, and ideally we would want to see a pullback, but the market can do anything. This is why I'm keeping this pair on, because it's such a strong testament to the market can do anything, because this market could easily have this little pause, maybe another wick pullback, and then push up to this, and then create that pullback. Or the market could, from here, just pull straight back. But we do not know. So keeping it on, because you can see bullish push up, price came in bullish push up. So we're seeing this strong bullish buying pressure here. So what I'd be waiting for is potentially another rejection of this area. If we can see another rejection, bullish engulf, which would kind of close above. Oh, pardon me. So, right, so what I'll be looking for is another rejection off of this area. So we kind of have a double bottom, because as it stands we'd have left head, right shoulder, okay, on the daily to create that weekly pullback. So you've got to be very cautious when looking at this, because we have a strong indication of a reversal, a potential reversal, and we're at a weekly higher high. So, you know, you got to stay in an objective standpoint. Like, yeah, I want to take buys, but I'm not going to ignore the information for sells, because if the information for sells is a lot stronger and makes sense than my weak reasonings for buys, then it makes no sense, because you have to take into account where we are in the market, and that is at a higher high on the weekly. You know, yeah, we're above an area of interest, but we're at a higher high above an area of interest. So that could lead to, like, the doji, because there was indecision, because the buyers want to push it up because it's a bullish market, but sellers are starting to come in and see that, okay, the buyers have been pushing for a while, we can try and take control again. So we could either see this break and retest under here, which would confirm this head and shoulders, or if we see a second rejection and do not close below this, I'll be looking for that engulf candle, wick pullback, and then look to trade up to these highs here. Simples. So the first step is obviously waiting for that pullback. So we'll put it a bit further back, you know, like a bit deeper in here, as the bitch always says. Bit deeper. I can't go any deeper. I'm fully extended. Bro, imagine. That's hard times for you, man. I swear down. If you're fucking a bitch and she goes, "Are you in?" and you're there like, "Oh yeah, that's good, babe, that's good," and she goes, "Are you in?" Nah, I should laugh though, because, you know, God blesses everyone with different things. I'm just blessed to have that one big thing down there, you know. But, okay, back to what I was doing. See how I easily get distracted by myself? So the AUD-JPY, the weekly, has had a shift in structure. I'll make sure, yeah, I've got, these are my pairs, okay. So the weekly saw a shift in structure after this massive sell-off. So now we're currently big buy, having a 2-candle pullback. It's very probable that that's a nice enough elbow for us to push up. We have wick rejection. So majority of the time when we see these graveyard dojis, hammers, shooting stars, more often than not, we will pull into this area and then continue to push up. So you see how we create that first one, and then we still pulled back into it, and we created another one. So we're very likely to come back into this area of interest to reject, if before rejecting to the upside. So what this area is, right, is, this area is mine. On the weekly, you can see this area on the daily, the weekly. Let me mark these out for you, sorry. Right? Because, right, you understand this is psychological. Price is not there yet. Okay? So, ideally, for the weekly retest, we'd be looking for down here. But we could potentially see it to this previous point here. Do we have any previous structure here? I'm sure if we extend it left, we might see something. Extend left. I guarantee you will see something. Right? Price doesn't stop in random places. Support, resistance support from the wicks. Any bodies. One body here. Wicks, more wicks. So it's not a super valid level, but it has been used as previous support and resistance. So we can see, obviously an ideal place would to have it down here, right? At this crisp, nice area where you have resistance, support, resistance with the EMA. But price doesn't always have to pull back to the broken high. So we'll be looking to see, if we come down to the daily gives me more indication of this market. And that's, we've been pushing up, and now we're in this sort of consolidation. We're just pushing down in this correction-like manner, and then looking for this, obviously. But why I'm looking for that is going to be, we're overall still bullish, right? Create a higher high here, pulled back, pushed up, create a higher high, higher low. But just like, was it AUD NZD? I'm looking for, see this left, head, right shoulder, break above the neckline, retest, continuation. Because one, I don't want to buy in this weird little consolidation stage. Two, I don't want to be, this is not going well. I don't want to be buying from here and then having a strong resistance already at a 1-to-1, because this is the resistance that stopped price previously, it supported price previously, it stopped all that momentum as well, then it stopped price now here. So I want to take the buy once we know that this strong ass area is being used as support, not whilst we are being used as resistance. Because if this strong ass area is going to be used as support, well, look what happens last time. Boom, glad. Look how it stopped. When the price was above and buyers were using this as support, look how all this strong bearish momentum stopped when we got here, because the buying pressure was so strong. So now that we acknowledge that and can understand that we need price above to take this same buying pressure and apply it here, obviously it's not going to be the same, but it's other people who are going to be looking at the market and identifying this area who are also going to want to take buys. So we'll all help each other and then we'll fucking take over the sellers. But this trade could be crazy because we're having a weekly pullback, and if that weekly pullback was confirmed by this week pushing up, having an engulf candle here, that would be one juicy motherfucker. So all we're waiting for again on this pair is a break and retest of the inverse head and shoulders, AUD/JPY. So we'll come here, we'll write break of neckline, looking for retest rejection. Okay, so we'd mark this off just ribbit. NZD, yes, let me just show you the comparison on it. So daily, left head, potential right shoulder to be. The weekly, again, left head, potential right shoulder. So there's another, I don't know if I mentioned that actually, but there's another another potential reason why price might not push up and pull back. We could potentially create the left head, right shoulder here, to then break and then push up into crazy new highs and retest the EMA whilst making that right shoulder. This left head, potential right shoulder to be made up here. There's a lot of head and shoulder patterns. They're everywhere, bro. Everywhere. Ooh, a monster in the morning is so good. So bad for you, but so good. Right, my back is killing me sitting up like a cunt. So, NZD/JPY is, the JPY pairs are all moving the same. But this one, AUD-JPY, is above the weekly area, but it needs to push above my daily area. NZD is below my weekly area. As you can see, identify the areas of interest where we've had strong reactions to. Strong reaction, clearly still acting as strong resistance because it stopped all this momentum. Stopped all this momentum once. So when I come down to the daily, I can see, oh shit, we're consolidating in sort of a triangular pattern. You know, waiting for that doo-doo-doo-doo. So what I'm waiting for on this pair is literally, as we were waiting on the other pairs for the break and retest of the neckline, I'm looking for a break of this consolidation. NZD breaking out of consolidation above area of interest. So I'll be looking for that EMA to continue squeezing price up, and then for us to see bullish candle, wick retest potentially, entry, take profit. Very straightforward for that pair, it's because it's pretty much the same as JPY. Then we come over, ooh, that's nice. Now we come over, I don't know, I'm not even going to read that, I'm going to just tell you what I'm looking for. This one's a bit iffy, okay? So we've seen we've broken structure, come back to retest, broken above. Nice, we've had a big hammer rejection, right? Which is a very nice indication of buying pressure here still. So when we come to our daily, we can see, bro, I love this pattern, is just too overpowered, right? Left, head, right shoulder, break. We did not see a retest of the neckline. We pulled in a bit deeper. So what I'm looking for now is to see, after we shifted bearish, I need to see the daily shift bullish, closing above this high, and then come back to retest this area of interest, and then give us that retest, get the EMA in here, my daily wick pullback here, my entry there, oh goddamn, my entry there, take profit at these highs, nice little potential trade. But that one's, yeah, that one's, everything is waiting for a break, nothing's really ready. So, you know, we could be looking like end of the week. I definitely do not think today or tomorrow we'll get a trade. But I'll keep my eye out, because like I said, anything can happen. And we could, like this, give us that engulf today and then the entry tomorrow. This, I do not think so. This, I very much doubt so, because we need to pull back, then reject. This, we still need to, this could be engulf today, retest tomorrow. Did I even finish analysing my pairs? This could be engulf today, retest tomorrow. I'll be real with you. The ones that are the potential, this needs to break structure and retest. NZD CAD. NZD CAD, I didn't go over it for you actually. But what you can see on this, right, is what I very much like. Again, inverse left head, potential right shoulder. Okay, potential right shoulder. Because we've shifted structure here, bearish. We've come back underneath our area of interest where we have strong selling pressure. Stopped all this buying pressure. Stopped all this buying pressure. Reversed it to selling pressure. Stopped all this buying pressure. Kind of came down and held this buying pressure. But what we're looking to see now is a continuation of that respect to the downside. So on the daily, we come down and we can see what? We just shifted structure. We've just pulled back, okay? And then we've come down, created sort of like a double bottom type formation. And obviously if we break above and retest, we'll be looking for buys. But if we do not, right, what I could potentially see this market be doing right now is will that create a lower high here and then break that structure there, and then to create that reverse double top. So we thought it was creating a double top here to go bullish, but it might in fact be creating the double top here to then break, retest, and continue, and also in the process make that wick pullback for the weekly, and then that push down like rat-tat-tat. That's what we could potentially looking for. So as it stands, we took a trade last week, didn't realise how we got caught in this, how price shifted bearish here, then bullish. So we were buying into a higher low area at this area of resistance, which we didn't clock. Well, we didn't clock this area of resistance, and my mind was just so clouded by the fact that I was on a 100k challenge. And now that I've taken that first trade, and I've acknowledged that how important my psychology is, I just stay calm in it. Like I have no stress in the market, and it's truly a blessing, because it doesn't matter if I wait a week, or 2 weeks, a week, or 2 week, or 3 week, or 4. There'll be a setup eventually, and I'm only taking the cleanest. I'm focusing on taking the highest probability and the cleanest setups I can find. So I'm not trying to force anything at all. If the opportunity arises and it shows me a clean setup, I'm going to take it. And doing that enough times is just going to end up making me so much money, rather than trying to force the trades. Like, this is pretty ugly on the weekly, okay? So that's just trying to force it, just to prove that you know how to trade. Like, yeah, you know how to trade, but that's not what you're not trying to prove anything, you know? You're just trying to turn up and prove to yourself that you can stick to your strategy, and prove that you have a strong mentality to not need to prove anything. But I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end the video and the voice at 4:38. So 10 seconds and I'm ending this. 5, 4, 3, 2,